Good morning, children. As you all know that we are going to conduct UTs for you all children. So from Wednesday you are having UTs. So for that we are going to take revision. Okay, from today, that is 2 days. So please students, listen carefully here. So I have told you the one chapter from history and one chapter from geography and one chapter from civics part. Okay, so these 3 lessons are going to come for the UT. Okay, so as you all know that this lesson, period of transition, is nothing but the change which was brought in this is for 1500 after the medieval period, you call it as. And you can see in that this period is nothing but the period of transition. Okay, period of transition means there was a change which brought here in the history, and many new ideas came into existence. And you can see that word which was open to the world, that was the Renaissance period. And Renaissance is nothing but the revival, the rebirth, okay, of the history. Okay, so here you can see that many ideas, new ideas came into existence. People started thinking rationally. Okay, so people started questioning, and you can see that they started doing inquiry about what was there in the history, so which was already followed in the medieval period. So whatever the classes which were prevailing there, so it was well like accepted by all the people. Okay, so this period now brought nothing but the change in the history. Okay, so people started thinking new uh, ideas came into existence. They started questioning. Okay, so a spirit of inquiry, okay, which led to the another, you can see that reform movement, we call it as, brought in this history, in the period of in transition. That was nothing but a movement which was called as reformation. Okay, and this was introduced by whom? By Martin Luther, as you can see, a Christian priest, and he brought this movement. And you can see that scientific inventions and the discoveries made towards this end of the 18th century, you can see that, and the beginning. Okay, there was a high demand, okay, for goods and services as industrial revolution came into existence. And because of the industrial revolution, you can see that the agriculture revolution took place. So here you can see that the production which was taking place in the small scale, now it started taking place in the larger scale. Okay, so this all took place in this period. Okay, so it is known as a period of transition. Okay, so is it clear, children? So a word like capitalism came into existence, then the imperialism. Capitalism, where you can see that the privately owned industries were run by the capitalists, and they employed the workers. Here you can see that, and they used to pay them wages which was less than the their work worth, you can see. And even the imperialism started taking place because of the capitalism. That is the imperialism, you can see that nothing but the rule of a country over the other nation. Okay, so where they exploit the resources, you can call it as. So all this took place in this period of transition. Okay, children. So today we are going to discuss some of the questions. Okay, the revision part I am going to tell. That is the first question is nothing but the defined Renaissance. Okay, what do you mean by Renaissance? This is nothing but the short answers. So I'll be just explaining. Just listen to me. Renaissance means the rebirth or revival. Okay, the Renaissance affected art, science, architecture, and sculpture. So it is nothing but a change, a rebirth. Okay, a revival. The next they had asked here, name 2 primary sources, okay, of history for the Renaissance periods. Which are the sources? Like sundial, then graphic illustrations, then compass. So these inventions which were made here in this history, it tells about the Renaissance period. Okay, and then you can see that the next question they had asked about the 2 cities, okay, where this Renaissance took place. That was nothing but the Venice, Florence. Okay, and one more name they have given, that is Harlem. Okay, the next fourth question is nothing but the who invented the first printing press. So as we know that the person who invented the printing press, his name was Johannes Gutenberg. Okay, so this is the answer. Then the next question they had asked, name two scientists of the Renaissance period. So Copernicus and Galileo. Okay, so these were the scientists who came into existence in the Renaissance period. Then they had asked about defined Reformation. Okay, the sixth question. So what is Reformation? So as we know that the Renaissance took place, okay, and the spirit of inquiry. So in this Renaissance, what happened? It led to the religious reform movement, okay, and that movement was taken by the done by the Catholic Church, and this movement was led by Martin Luther, a Christian priest, which he named as this movement as the Reformation. Okay, so this is nothing but the Reformation. So is it clear, children? The next question that I asked, state any one important large scale production on society. So the next question is, who was Martin Luther? Martin Luther was a Christian priest of Renaissance period. So he led the movement. The movement name was the Reformation. Okay, so what was the name of that movement? Reformation movement. Okay, it was a religious reform movement. And then next question that I asked about, who state any one important impact of large scale production on society. So what was the impact? So as you can see that because of the large scale production, the quality items which were there, which was produced in the industries, it became cheaper. Okay, and you can see that now these goods were available for each and every person. Okay, now it went into the hands of the people easily. Okay, they were able to buy these goods. Next question they had asked about, state any one impact of the industrialization on children. So what was the impact on the children? Okay, so as you can see that because of the industrialization, here men, women and children, they all started working in the factories. Okay, so they came in the factories and they started working there. Next question, 10th question, they had asked about define capitalism. What do you mean by capitalism? Capitalism is nothing but big industries which are where the producing goods at a larger scale, mass scale we call it as, and at a cheaper rate. Okay, so converted the workers. Now here what they did, the workers were converted into merge wage earners. So they were paid wages, and the factory owners who were the owners of the factory, they started enjoying huge profits. Okay, so they started acquiring wealth and they got huge profits from this industries. Okay, the next question they had asked about imperialism. What is imperialism? Imperialism means a system in which rich and the powerful countries, they controlled, okay, and occupied the nations and ruled the nations. Okay, and they exploited the resources which were there in the country, in that countries, okay, for their own economic and industrial benefits. Okay, the next question, the 12th question they asked here, mention any two ill effects of the industries. Which were the two effects? I explained you about the capitalism and the imperialism. Now these two ill effects were responsible for the what we can call it as effects of the industrialization. Okay, so capitalism led to the what we can call it as exploitation of the workers, and imperialism led to the exploitation of the country, the other country, where these countries ruled the countries. Okay, is it clear, children? Now the detailed questions we'll discuss. Here you can see that the first question is asked about the analyze the major features of the Renaissance. So what were the features, okay, of Renaissance period? Okay, Renaissance, as we all know, that it is nothing but rebirth. Okay, the period saw a great increase in the trade and wealth as industrialization took place. Okay, and you can see that even Renaissance affected the art, science and architecture, okay, and sculpture. Even many ideas became more realistic. People started what we call it as, they started questioning, okay, and the less dominated by religion. So here religion didn't dominate, and you can see that the statues were more lifelike. Okay, so all these features you can call it as are responsible, okay, for Renaissance. Then music explored feelings, so people started exploring their feelings in the form of music, and they started writing books, and real life questions they started questioning. And the next you can see that artists and the trees were seen as important figures in the society, and they were supported by nobles and landlords. So books which were printed in this period, they started spreading the new ideas of the thinkers, and this was also the reason you can call it as. And then the Renaissance reached at its peak in the 16th century, and mainly in the cities you can see that, like Venice, Florence, Antwerp and Harlem. So these were the cities where Renaissance took place. Okay, so is it clear? The next question is about three events are often picked out as marking the end of the medieval period and the start of modern age. See children, you can keep your textbook in front of you, and when I read the question you can check there. Okay, so this question is nothing but the second question, and the answers are shown on the slide. Okay, so what do you mean by this? Explain this. So the fall of Constantinople in 1453, as you studied last year, that the Roman Empire ruled, okay, the world. You can see that most of the countries, and Constantinople, okay, so this empire was ruling in the western, you can see that Europe and the England countries. So Roman Empire was there, and there was a fall in this empire, and you can see that this was also the reason which led to the next modern age. Okay, so medieval period to modern age. And then you can see that the next point is the development of the printing in 1450s. So as you can see that the introduction of the printing press, okay, the invention which took place in 1450s, which were made available of the books to everyone, where everyone could was able to read the books. Okay, so it went into the hands of everyone, where they came to know about the new ideas, okay, through books. And the first voyage, okay, so the discovery of a new continent which was named as America, and the person who discovered was the Christopher Columbus in the year 1492. So these all reasons where you can see that mark the end of the medieval period and the start of the modern age. Okay, so this is the answer for second question. Then again, if you'll see in the textbook, the third question is analyze the impact of print culture on the society. So what was the impact of the printing press? Okay, they had asked here. As you can see that because of the print, you can see that culture, the printing press, new ideas of the thinkers came to be known by everyone. And you can see that their writings and the commentary and the whatever critical comments they used to comment on the tradition, superstition, so all despotism, so this all came into existence, and people came to know about this through printing. Okay, and you can see that this brought a changing their relationship to information. So people started gathering information and knowledge with the help of the institutions and the authorities. So this was the first what we call it as the point which had an impact of print culture. The second one is nothing but print created a new culture of dialogue and debate. So people started debating and started speaking on the topics. Okay, like you can see that it became that they that had become aware of the power of reason and recognized the need to question existing ideas and beliefs. So people started questioning, and whatever the ideas came into existence, so they started learning about that. Okay, then you can see that next point was by the 1780s there was an outpouring of the literature that mocked the royalty and criticized their morality. So where you can see that there was an outpouring of the literature which was seen in that period. Now here people started criticizing their morality. Large areas of the world were completely unknown to the people, so many people were not knowing about the medieval Europe. Okay, so now everyone came to know about their what we can see that the morality which they were introducing here in the world. Okay, so is it clear children? The next one is the Industrial Revolution began in England. Analyze the reasons. Okay, fourth one is nothing but during 1600s you can see that what was the reason of how the Industrial Revolution took place in England. So first was the, you can see that overseas exploration. The England country started developing their new markets in the other countries. Okay, so to enjoy huge profits. Okay, to earn income or money from these countries. So new financial institutions like banks, where they could provide the loans to the people, and they help to industrial growth. So most famous in that period was the powerful Bank of England, which was in 1694. Even you can see that England had rich natural resources in the form of, so they had natural resources like coal, iron mines, which helped them to for the valuable source of energy, which is this valuable source of energy, and for the fuel machinery, and the iron which was used to make machines and products such as tools and cookware. The next point is nothing but the scientific improvements which took place in the farming with the help of the industrial revolution. Later on you can see that even because of the industrial revolution, the revolution took place in the agriculture sector also. Next, fifth question is, explain the major impacts of the industrial revolution. As you can see that industrial revolution had an impact on many things like urbanization, then capitalism and imperialism, then socialism. So in urbanization you can see that new cities and industrial towns, and trade and commerce came into existence, and then you can see that mass production started increasing, and with this even slums and overcrowding of the people, and their poor housing conditions, even exploitation workers started taking place. Next point is capitalism and imperialism. So in, as you can see that because of the industrial revolution, they gave rise to capitalism in the economy, and you can see that the workers, they started working in the factories and they started getting wages, and the factory owners, they started earning huge profits here. And you can see that imperialism, which also took place, and it was a result of capitalism, you can see, and the rich and the powerful countries started ruling the nations and exploiting their resources to benefit their economic and industrial growth. The next point is socialism. Industrialization brought men, women, and children to the factories. They all started working in the factories. Working hours started increasing, and the wages which were paid was very less. And because of this, you can see that earlier the employment was generated, but later on, because of the increase in the population, the unemployment started increasing. And you can see that during this time, the low demand for industrial goods started taking place. Okay, the next question is, industrial revolution leads to imperialism. Explain. So here you can see that how it leads to imperialism. Another impact of industrial revolution and capitalism was the rise of imperialism. So here you can see that this started taking place as a demand for raw materials. Now for the countries who had the industries, they started searching for a new colonies and new countries for their raw materials. So here you can see that they started taking part in the what we can say, acquiring the colonies of the other countries. Imperialism means a system in which rich and powerful countries rule the other countries, okay, and they exploit their resources so for their benefit. So this all things you can see that the reason for, you can see that led to the imperialism because of the industrial revolution. So all these factors, okay, are responsible for the, you can see that imperialism. The next question is, in South Asia, imperialism brought fixed response. Explains. So Southeast Asia, as you can see, that commanded the sea lands between India and China. So from 1500 to 1700, you can see that European merchants gained footholds in South Asia. So slowly they acquiring the places, and but most of the area remained independent. So they ruled some of the countries, and this change in the 1800s, you can see that the countries like Dutch, British, and French, they started manipulating the rivals, and you can see that with the use of the modern armies, and they started capturing the Southeast Asia. So most of the colonies were taken under their control. Okay, so you can see that economies grew based on the cash crops. They started producing this, they started forcing the countries to produce cash crops, as it brings the profit to the main country. And then roads, harbors and rail system improved communication and transportation, but mostly benefited European business. So even unlike other colonial areas, millions of people from other areas of Asia and the world migrated to work on plantation and in the mines in Southeast Asia. So is it clear, children? So these are the questions of the first lesson of the history, that is period of transition. So here you don't have MCQs, so you can see that geography lesson has the MCQs, so that you can prepare for your UT. Another lesson that is going to come for the UT, that is the population dynamics from the geography part. Okay, so you can open your textbook. In that you have this geography lesson, and as I read the question, just look into the textbook and the answers I'll be showing on this screen. Okay, so the first question is nothing but what is the pattern of population distribution. So here you can see that the way in which people are spread in the world across the earth's surface is known as the pattern of population. So how you can see that. So in this lesson you are going to study the population distribution, so around the world. Okay, and you can see that the graph which explains about the population. Okay, so the first question tells you that the way or in which how the people started spreading all over the world across the earth's surface, that is nothing but the pattern of population distribution. Second question then asks about what is underpopulation. So underpopulation is nothing but a type of population where that population will be less than the available resources. So available resources will be more in the country, okay, than the population. Now next question is what is overpopulation. Overpopulation is nothing but it is a situation where population is more than the available resources. Okay, so now which are the countries which are most population countries in the world? That is China and India. Next they had asked about name any two regions of the world with low density of population, that is Canada and Greenland. And which next question, sixth question, they had asked about two regions of the world with high density of population, that is the China and USA. Okay, so next question, seventh one, that asks what is population change. Population change refers to the change in the number of people during a specific time. That means there's the change which refers to in the number of people during that specific time. Okay, so increase in the population explains about the population change. Then they had asked eighth question, mention any two factors which are responsible for population change. So which are the factors why the population change or increasing population is seen? That is because of the better food supplies and availability of health facilities. Okay, next is the birth rate. Okay, they had asked define the following terms, ninth question, and in that they had asked about birth rate. Birth rate is nothing but the number of births divided by 1,000 persons. Okay, then death rate, it will be opposite, the number of deaths per 1,000 persons in a year. Okay, next they had asked migration. Migration is nothing but the movement of the people within the country and outside the area. Okay, then density of population. So what is density of population? Number of persons living in that per unit of land is called density of population. Then the next 10th question they had asked, what is international migration? We studied migration. So what is international migration? International migration is nothing but the movement of the people from one country to another and across the international borders, crossing the borders, international borders. Then the last question, short answer, that is what is population pyramid? Population pyramid is a graphical illustration. It explains with the diagram, graphical illustration, and it shows the distribution of the various age groups of the population. So age groups, it explains about the various age groups and the population of those age groups, and which normally is in the shape of pyramid. So it is known as population pyramid. So now we will just go through some detailed answers of the geography lesson. Okay, so you can just check, see in the textbook, page number 30. So detailed questions are given. I'll read from that and just answers are given on the screen. Okay, so first question is, explain the population change in the world from 1820. So they had changed, asked about what is the change, increase in the population, okay, from 1820 onwards. As you can see that the world population has not been stable, it has increased. Okay, so every specific period of time it has increased. Now, as you know that in the period of 1820 the population reached 1 billion, and 150 years after that, in 1970s, the world population reached 3 billion. So this is often called as population explosion. Okay, the third point explains about the, in the year 2010, less than 45 years later, you can see that the population doubled to 6 million, and the main reasons for this growth was better food supplies and availability of health facilities and cheap goods and other things due to industrialization. So all this you can see in that reasons were there which led to the population explosion. Okay, is it clear? Next they had asked, what is population composition and what is its importance? Okay, composition of the population is nothing but a vast field comprising of what? Ethnic characteristics, races, tribes, language, religion, literacy, education, age, sex, then economically active population, and many more. So these all factors come in the composition of population. Okay, then next point, the study of the composition. You can see that why we should study this. It helps to understand the social, economic and demographic structure of the population. We come to know about the social condition of the population, then economic condition, then the demographic structure. Okay, so distribution of the population we call it as. So all this we come to know about with the help of composition of population. Then it also help us to know how many males or females, okay, which age group they belong to, and how educated they are, and what type of occupation they are employed in, and what their income levels and health conditions are. So all this we come to know in this composition of population. Then the fourth one is an interesting way of studying the population composition. So what was the interesting way of a country? With the help of a population pyramid, and which is also called as age sex pyramid. Okay, so is it clear this? The next question, that is the analyze the impact of overpopulation. Okay, now what was the impact of the overpopulation? So here you can see that they are given the points: depletion of natural resources, then degradation of environment, and rise in employment. So these are the factors we call it as which led to which resulted because of the overpopulation. So the first was this depletion of resources. The earth can produce only limited amount of water and food. So as you can see, not only limited resources, these natural resources are not available in bulk in quantity. So this started falling short, and the current needs, as the population started increasing, as you can see that it led to the environmental damage. And because of the growing population, people started cutting down trees, they started hunting wildlife, and then they started causing many problems which led to the depletion of natural resources. So end of the natural resources. Then next is degradation of environment, and because of this what happened, we started overusing more coal, oil and natural gas, which led to the, you can see that because of the number of increase in the vehicles and industries, and the rise of because of the increase of the use of vehicles and industries, the again the amount of carbon dioxide started increasing, and which led to the global warming. The next question, next point, that is rise in employment. When a country becomes overpopulated, give rise to unemployment, give rise to crimes and like stealing. So because of the rise in the employment, when a country becomes overpopulated, what happens later on? It give rise to unemployment. People don't get jobs. Now they get involved into many crimes like stealing, okay, various items to feed their families. So these are nothing but the impact of overpopulation. Now next question, fourth is state three impact of underpopulation. Okay, so three impacts are nothing but the lack of the adequate manpower. So here you can see that there the population will be less and the shortage of the labor will be less, so there will be a shortage of labor. And here you can see that we have resources more, but to attend this all resources the manpower is less. So with that attend effect of low investment and income, so it will result in low investment and income. Okay, so first point. The second one is underutilization of resources, so which resources are available in the environment or that will be which will not be used properly. Okay, as the population is less and underutilization of these resources will take place. Third point tells about the lack of people to defend the country, so we don't have more population here in the countries. Okay, so this because of the underpopulation in times of war and emergency, the country might find a difficult for the to mobilize enough people, so they will not have more people to defend their country. Okay, so these all are the reasons where which takes place because of the underpopulation. Okay, is it clear? Oh, you have to study the MCQs of this lesson which will be coming. Okay, children, go through this revision part which I have explained, and civics lesson I could not complete here, so please read the civics lesson also nicely and the MCQs of the geography part. Okay, so from the geography part only MCQs will be coming. Okay, and the other history and civics lesson doesn't have MCQ, so MCQs will be from geography part, and the question answers will be coming from all the three lessons. Okay, so the pattern will be MCQs first, and then 1 marks answers, and then 2 marks answer, 3 marks answer, and then 4 marks answers. Okay, so this will be your pattern of your UT. Okay, children, please do the revision and answer the paper nicely. Thank you, children.